Hi, I'm Jon Decker, PGA golf instructor and author of the book, Golf is My Life, Glorifying God Through the Game. Today I want to work with you on putting, and one of the problems that a lot of my students have, and this is a problem that a lot of tour players have, and it's one of the quickest ways to actually lose your card. And we're going to talk today about yips, missing the short putts. And a lot of this is psychological, because as you get closer to the hole, anxiety starts creeping in. Because now you're starting to think about your score. You know, I'm not thinking about my score, whether I'm putting for a birdie or a par or a bogey when I'm teeing off. But as I get on, when you get on the green and you get closer to the hole, especially when you hit a nice shot in there, or if you've got a putt that's worth a lot of money on the last hole with your friends or whatever, the nerves start creeping in. And remember, when you're nervous, those are the same anxieties that tour players deal with. The difference is tour players deal with them on a daily basis. They have very good techniques, obviously, but there's also a lot of mental things that you can do. Now, the first thing I want to do is to help you with if you're struggling with the yips, is to take out a Sharpie and draw a dot just like this on your ball. So I've just drawn one dot right there, and I would do this on both sides of my ball. Now, keep in mind, this is perfectly legal. In fact, I encourage you to mark your golf ball before you play. That way you can identify your ball. But what you're going to do here is when you're putting, you're not going to focus on the ball, you're going to focus on the dot. So this is very important in your eye movement, because what happens in putting is a lot of times when people putt is when they're putting, they'll want to look at the hole as they're stroking the putt, because they want to see whether they made it or not. That's the most common thing that I see from a technique standpoint with the yip. So what I'm going to do is I've drawn a dot on this ball. I'm just going to go ahead and hit this putt, and all I'm going to do is focus on the dot. And what I try to do is when I'm looking at the dot, is I try to hit the putt and look straight down and not look up. So again, I've got the dot on the ball, and the idea is when I hit my putt is that I putt and I'm still looking at the dot. What this does is it takes the ball away, because if you look at that dot, you're not going to see the ball. And a lot of times the ball causes tension. It causes people to tighten up and stop their stroke. It's very common to see people on these putts, they'll go back and then they stop because they get tense, instead of just letting the putter swing through the dot. That's very, very important in putting. So again, putting the dot on your ball will help you with this. The other thing that I would encourage you to do is that when you're putting is to count. And I count 1, 2. So I go back on 1 and I hit the putt on 2. 1, 2. And I do it to the cadence of 1 second. 1, 2. I don't go 1, 2, and I don't go 1, 2. It's 1, 2. And so I look at the dot, and then in my head I go 1, 2, just like this. 1, 2. Focus on the dot, add the count into your putting stroke. And when I did it for the demonstration there, I was verbally saying 1, 2. Do not do that when you putt. Do it in your head. It's a lot easier if you'll do it in your head. It's a great way to get all of those voices out of your head about thinking about what the putt is worth, or how much it's worth, or if you're going to have a great round or whatever it is. You get all that stuff out of your head and just focus on the dot, on the ball, and going back into the ball in that 1, 2 cadence. If you do that, you're going to improve your short putts. And guess what? When your short putts, when you have confidence in the short putts, it frees up your chipping, your pitching, your bunker play, your lag putting, because you know that if you get it up there within 3 or 4 feet, there's a really good chance that you're going to make the putt. That confidence is going to help you lower your scores.